Welcome to Theory Paranormal. My name is Pax. I'm here with my colleague Dalton, and we are going to get into a little bit about why we decided to get into the paranormal, what our goals are with it, and what it is that you may potentially learn from us if you listen to our podcasts. Buckle up, sit down, and get ready because it's about to start. So, my name is Pax. I decided to get into the paranormal roughly at a young age. Had multiple experiences throughout my younger life into my mid adult years. And as far as it goes, they still keep coming like greatest hits. So it's a constant reminder that even though when you may be done with a particular interest or idea with the paranormal, it always comes back to let you know it's not done with you. But we'll touch base more about me in a little bit. So currently I'm sitting with my colleague Dalton, who's part of the team. We're a two-person team. And we're going to learn a little bit about Dalton of why he got into the paranormal and what exactly is it that he enjoys and looks for when he investigates. All right, Dalton, why don't you go ahead and tell our audience why you decided to get into the paranormal and what exactly is it that you enjoy about it?
Well, I got into the paranormal basically. I was kind of brought into it in a rough way, I guess. Not really rough. I wouldn't know. I was too young, but been dealing with it most all my life. And it's always just been a real interest. The investigating, of course, back in the day, you couldn't really come out and say much about nothing because people thought you belonged in a mental ward or a hospital. People with gifts never really talked about it up until the shows come out. And when the shows come out, it was kind of open season. So growing up as a teenager, a kid, whatever, there was just a lot of things that I seen, heard, things that happened that I couldn't explain. I wasn't really scared about it. Something was just a comfortable feel about it. And you didn't know at that time. I didn't know, So I couldn't really tell you how I got into it or why I got into it. I just fell into it. And the more that I experienced things, the more stuff happened, and then it came to light that you can actually bring this out and people don't think that you should belong in a psych ward. Then I started following it and started getting answers on why this happened or what that happened or why I feel this way or sense that or I can say this or say that. And I guess that's about it, man. But it's just I could just honestly say I kind of fell into it. It wasn't like a forced thing or a kick in a tire or anything. I just have always dealt with it.
Okay. Appreciate you sharing. So why don't you go ahead and tell the audience what is it that you enjoy about doing investigations? What aspects of it?
Number
Anything?
one, helping people. It's probably the most important thing. Um, we're going to get into it probably in a little bit about investigations, what we've done together, and then what we've
Yeah.
done individually.
Yep.
Um, helping people, man, is probably the biggest gift you can give somebody to go into a place, to be able to tell them that your loved one is still around, making sure you're okay, and then for them to give you a big old hug and say thank you for that. I feel more at ease. I'm calmed down. I'm not so sad anymore. We've had that several times, and that's probably my main thing. Is just being able to go help people. I mean, yeah, you can go into a haunted warehouse or a haunted battle site, Civil War field or something, and yeah, you're going to get evidence. But doing private investigations, doing something people don't understand, and then get them to understand the other side and help them either get rid of what's going on there because now their family feels safe, or you actually explain it to them on what it is that's bothering them. It could be a past loved one or something, and they get more comfortable about it. And when that happens, man, it's like the whole world changed and you changed it for them. So that's probably my main purpose. Besides the investigating and trying to get answers, I would say helping people. So, you asked me the questions, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. What made you what drew your interest to the paranormal?
Uh, in all sincerity, long time ago, unfortunately, my mother was ill, and there was only so many things that modern medicine could do. And so I started looking into things about energy, uh, Eastern philosophy ideals that dealt with basically people having energy. You can call it chi, you can call it multiple things. And if you potentially harnessed it the correct way, you could help repair things, supposedly. And so I just started diving into that as much as I could to see if there's anything my young teenage self, could do to help my ill mother. Um, Unfortunately, the answer was no. But that insatiable desire to try to find that magic silver bullet of some sort of aha, I got you, that epiphany moment to say I found something that I could, help my loved one. Um, that ignited a fire in me, and I ended up doing research for years on multitudes of things on the metaphysical side of the house. And with that thirst for knowledge, I started seeing things in a different light, opened me up to a lot of different modalities. And so after that, ultimately growing up, I started having more and more experiences, as I guess it's safe to say you can call them. And that eventually segued over to doing paranormal investigations, private, public, residential, commercial, um, and helping all manner sorts of people. So I took my experience over the years and my knowledge uh, and ran with it. It wasn't something that was rehearsed. It wasn't something that I put a plan in place and said, here's here's my 5 year plan. I'm going to do this and learn this, and then I'm going to go here and do this. It wasn't like that at all. It was, everything was 100% fluid and organic.
Kind of a mistake is what I call it, because when you see people are closed minded,
Mm-hmm.
so when you get out there and you start really getting into it and you open your mind and then you realize um, when your mind is open, the things that you're capable of doing, which we'll get into a bunch of that stuff later. But so I call it like a mistake, like you stumble across it, like me, never could understand what was going on, and the more I tried to figure it out, and instead of saying, "Man, this is weird. I'm dreaming. I'm hallucinating, or whatever,"
Mm-hmm.
I just accepted it, and then the mind opens up, and then when your mind starts opening, then you're capable of doing that much more, and leads into what you're doing.
Yep.
Would you
Yep.
agree to that?
No, I fully agree. 110% there.
And so, what was your favorite? What's the favorite thing? What makes you passionate now after all that, and you realize that the other side is real and the paranormal exists and all that? So what has become, I would say, a favorite? What drives you to do it?
For me, it's equally twofold. Um, I mean, yeah, you have the excitement of going to a new location and investigating stuff and learning things and, going forward with that information that you may not have had before and say, hey, here's what I've achieved. Um, but more importantly, um, number one, it's about, just touching base back on what you stated earlier, assisting families, assisting people in need that are in an arena that don't understand what's going on, uh, normally, or that are afraid, apprehensive, scared, unsure. It their life 9 times out of 10, from my experience, is in 100% disarray. So being able to be that individual that can go into an environment and not facilitate walking in like you have all the answers, but being able to lend credence to their experiences, validate, what's going on by information that can be learned in the investigation, um, through multiple methods, rather it's utilizing gifts, utilizing scientific technology, utilizing metaphysical uh, theories per se, being able to bring that at the end of the day and say, hey, here's what I've been able to pull back and see, and these ultimately are the different scenarios. And it's not so much of me saying definitively, hey, this is the golden goose. This is the answer. This is that silver magic bullet of what you've been hoping for. But it's a matter of just saying, hey, here's what I've discovered, and here's how it happened, and letting that individual make that well informed decision. Who am I to tell somebody right from wrong, or tell them yes or no, this is the way to align yourself with the thought process?
And
That's
I and that's what we do, because we always tell people we're not here to change your mind.
no.
We have our opinions. We have our, I wouldn't even say beliefs. We have our opinions. We have what we saw. We have what we hear. Um, and we just want to share it the right way, of course. But I get a lot of religious folks that go, "Man, you're chasing demons. You're doing this," and I said, "Look, if that's your belief, I respect that. But please respect what I do, because I'm not going to say that I have. I guess it's a belief, um, but because of what I do, I can't even say the word right now. But I'm just saying they look at it like it's something different, and I'm not trying to change that at all,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to sit there and tell them, just like you said, we're not out here to go, well, you're going to believe this or not. You're just going to take our word, and you're going to like what I tell you that you're going to like. You're going to believe it.
Right.
Um, I love a skeptic. I love a person that can try to come to me and say, hey man, you're just crazy. You know, this doesn't exist. But then when you take them out, hey, I'm welcoming you to an investigation. Come on out, dude. If you think it's fake, you think whatever, come on out. And as soon as they see stuff going off by itself and they know we ain't tampering with it, it changes the whole attitude in a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Um, to answer the second part of the question, besides helping individuals, as as interesting as this for me to say out loud, even though I think it a lot in my mind, is helping other things that per se are on the different sides of realms of reality, or not of reality, but different places that we can't see, taste, touch, feel, hear, or maybe all of those depending on the day, and assisting. Uh, I wholeheartedly believe that every single thing, a part of life, there's a system in place for a reason for another system, and everything's correlated one way or another. I mean, you look at plants and the way all the plants work with the world, all the insects and the prey and predator system. There's always an equal balance of something, no matter where you look at life, always. So for my personal belief, I believe that the other side, I guess it's fair to say, um, you know, can have spirits, they can have ghosts, they can have entities that aren't spirits or ghosts, but are a form of energy. Just multiple things, but being able to assist or convey things to that side sometimes can actually yield a better result versus going into a situation and having a predetermined notion of how it's supposed to be or supposed to go. There were times, and this is my analogy for it, there were times where I went to do investigations and I already had tons of information on what was going on at the location, witness statements, um, evidence, recordings, videos, you name it, all sorts of things. And so you kind of you built up this image and this representation of what you're supposed to, air quotes, deal with when you go there. And we're laughing because it's so true. And then getting into the situation and doing various methods of communication and trying to piece together this puzzle it paints a completely different picture.
Yes.
It's not really true to fact of all the information that you had, that you were prepared to say, okay, this is it. This is what I know, and I'm going to make the best use of it. It could be completely skewed and furthest away from the truth.
It's like I put it like this. It's layers.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you remodel a house. You don't know what you're getting into until you start ripping the walls out. Oh, I got mold here.
Right.
Then you rip that out. Oh, I got rotten wood there. Then you rip that out, and you could rip entire half side of your house out before you figure out what the issue is. You just got to go through layer after layer after layer. And if that's not the possible fact that the entity that you're multiple entities, single entity, whatever, if they're not playing games with you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother deal you got to deal with. Are you talking to a child, or are you talking to an adult playing a child? Because you don't know, you know. So when you get into this stuff, you're peeling back an onion for sure. You're just layer after layer after layer after layer, and no matter how much evidence you walk in with, it's a rare percentage that evidence is going to lead you to that. I mean, how many investigations have we done where we went back to the same place and none of the evidence was the same as the first time? It was just like all new evidence, all new things. But sometimes if you go back and you take the second trip to the place and you add it to the first trip, it actually starts to tell a story if you can piece that together. But again, you're peeling back an onion. That's just kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely agree, and to that testament right there. Um, it just goes back and agrees to what I was stating. You don't know the situation until you get into it. And the point that I was trying to make previously is ultimately, though, we live on this side. Being able to physically see, smell, touch things, and there has been instances where I have been able to give information to the other side. Um, you know, you want to think in a logical sense, well, the other side should already know. But the reality of that is, from my experiences, is that's not always the case. Sometimes it takes one particular individual to be on location, on site, that is gifted or is not gifted, but they have a background that they used to be a soldier, and say you're hypothetically you're working or you're doing investigation on a Civil War property. Next thing you know, a place that always had problems got quiet, and next thing you know, they're communicating in various methods with somebody that used to be a soldier current day. So it's all about timing and seeing how things come together. More times than I can ever care to count, I've went to go do a situational investigation, and ultimately, so many things happen by coincidence that when you walk away at the end of the day, you kind of laugh to yourself and you're like, you got to be kidding me. This is unreal. This situation happened. This particular person, hypothetically, that was driving by, wanted to know why we were over at the property, got out of their car, came over, said some information to us. We told them what was going on. Then they laughed and told us information that we were never privy to, which painted a picture or gave us credence to something that may have just happened. And what I'm getting at is life for me and Dalton. It's interesting because it's a constant wave of ups and downs, ups and downs. And for that moment when there isn't a storm and things are smooth and everything seems to be going just right, that's when we know where we're supposed to be. When things are constantly being in synchronicity and things are ebbing and flowing, that's how we know, okay, we're going the right way about this. And an easier way to explain it is you can take any period of 5 years of your life and think about when you had obstacles in your life. It could be one particular thing, and things just weren't working. And then you changed a mindset, you changed something physically, You said something different, whatever the case may be. Everybody has a difference of personal, experiences, but something changed. And when that one item changed, you went forward. And that's what I'm talking about when we investigate. It's always nice to when we can help people go forward.
Well, and the funny thing about that is, you never know what it was.
No, you don't.
You can see it and you can go, everything turned out great and everything, but you walk away going, what's that one thing that we just did to make that happen? You just don't know. And of course, every investigation is its own thing. I've never really been to an investigation where it wound up being the same concept. Might have been the same um, theory or the same relevance, but a different concept.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, and that's probably why, as a team, me and you click. Because, I mean, there's times I could call you and say something. You're like, dude, I was just thinking about that a couple days ago. It's kind of weird how that works out. I think that's what makes us a team. And I think that's, why we accomplish the things that we have done.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, speaking to the testament of our name, Theory Paranormal, it's simply that. You can take books throughout history in any continent, in any country, and they are all going to have written word and testaments and testimonies of individuals all throughout history speaking of different things of the paranormal in one way, shape, or fashion. And the neat thing is if you actually compared apples to oranges, you're going to find a lot of similarities. The difference is what they refer to different things as. It may be a different name for something, but the overall collective experience of that said something could be identical to something else halfway across the world. Now, with Theory Paranormal, that's what we embody here. Just that theory. Can you say that we are people going around investigating, having fun? Yes. Can you say that we are individuals that are also, part of the craft that have been doing this for so long that you can kind of consider us professionals? Maybe. Sure. It's all about eye of the beholder.
I mean, we're investigators. I don't like the term ghost hunter.
No.
I mean, even though I love Jason and Grant to death, and ghost hunters is ghost hunters, and I respect that. But when you call an individual person a ghost hunter, you see what I'm getting at? You got a TV show, Ghost Hunters, that's fine. But when you step out and call an individual person a ghost hunter, I'm just kind of digging at, because the word hunt, you're like, okay, so I'm hunting spirits. These are former people. And so I prefer that we use the term investigator, because that's what we're doing.
Yep.
That's what everybody's doing. Everybody in the paranormal world, that's what you're doing. You're investigating. You go into a place, there's a problem. Just like cops, police officers, law enforcement, there's a problem. What do? They go and investigate. That's what we do.
Now, the reason why I also made the sentiment though of potentially saying in a way, are we professionals? We're not in this. Is when you look at the word professional, it's an individual that does something as their trade, daily. And not only that, but they have the skill sets to back it up. For the audience that's listening at the moment, me and Dalton have been part of the paranormal world combined easily over, 75 years? Easily. And with that, there's also an education behind it. So it's not so much of this is what we just do and we saw, but it's a lot more involved. And that's something that's very important that I would really like to make sure that you, the audience, understand. When we talk about things, sure, we may throw in some buzzwords, but you'll find out in future podcasts with us, when we explain things, it's going to get into detail. It's not going to be one of those, well, we put the device on the floor. Well, why does it work, Pax? You turn it on. Oh, okay. Well, what else does it do? It flashes colors. Oh, okay. No, we are going to explain scientifically how things work.
For somebody like, when I first started and you're out there and you got all this gear, you got a K2 meter, you got a millimeter, you got a REM pod, you got this, you got that. And then you get somebody that shows you, hey, you should buy this, you should buy that, you should get your digital recorder. Don't get that one, get this one. Well, what's the difference between this and this? So, first starting out, I probably bought a lot of stuff I didn't really need. And I found out the older stuff works best, like an older digital recorder or
Mm-hmm.
the old, mini cassette cameras, not these new cameras, but the older ones
Yeah.
actually pick up a lot more.
Yep.
But after you buy a REM pod or you buy a K2, there wasn't really nobody to stand there and tell you exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay, I lift the antenna on the REM pod. What happens? Well, when the entity walks through, it'll light up. Okay, why? Well, it just does. That's what you get. It just
Yep.
does.
Yep.
Okay, well, tell me why.
Yep.
What's that? That's, I want to know what makes that device more special than this K2.
And with what Dalton's talk about right there, hit the nail on the head. One of the big proponents of theory paranormal is when we get into explanation, it's going to be that, but it's not going to be down in the weeds or 50,000-mile-foot view. It's going to be palatable explanation talking points that you can say, oh, okay, because we'll explain how the equipment works. Say you want to have a slice of it that has to do with the metaphysical, that has to do with energy, that has to do with chakras, that has to do with the spiritual side of the world. We're also going to break that down and give you that viewpoint and opinion. So that way, if you are open to all of that, then you can look at it from another perspective.
Yeah, we're not telling you to go out and kick a tire and find the most haunted, ridiculous place and try it for yourself. We're just saying there's still a lot of stuff that hasn't been explained. And I would just say we're just and I want to point out that a lot of this stuff is our opinions. It's how when we do an investigation, it's what we gather. I mean, you can, like, in the AC business, I can walk around and pick anybody's work out, looking at duct work, looking at installs, just like they can come pick mine out. It's the same way. You're going to have other people that are going to say, well, my take on it is this. Okay, well, now, when that happens, I've been on several investigations with other investigators, and they're like, well, my take, this is what I'm hearing, this is what I'm feeling. Okay, well, let's break that down to, let's think about you. Let's put let's put your shoes on our feet, and let's get inside what you're doing, and let me have you tell me why this is happening and why you feel the way you feel, because I just told you my point of view. I just told you what I heard and why I think this is going on. And so I feel like that makes the playing field fair. If you can if you can learn to put the shoe on the other foot, even the ghost, the spirit, the entity, no matter who you're talking to, if you could put the shoe, because they're passed away, and to me the spirits want to be heard. They want to live again, and they want to tell their story. Like when we do things, we catch people from the 1800s.
Oh, yeah.
They can't stop talking, dude. They can't stop talking, and most people sit there and go, why are we getting so much stuff going on here? I'm like, they want to be heard.
Yep.
It wants they want to make it like they're alive again, like somebody's listening, because for some reason their life got cut before they had to say something. I guess that's, again, my opinion, you know. But yeah, I would say, like, man, if we can break this down into an explanation that makes sense for everybody, it's a win-win. That's what we're trying to do.
Yep. Most definitely. And the third way that we're going to explain things with theory paranormal for things that we discuss is just the straight up matter of fact explanation, just blunt. No smoke and mirrors,
No beat around the bush.
no beating around the bush. We'll just call it like it is. You know, at the end of the day, our overall goal with our podcast is just to spread awareness from our experiences, maybe lend credence to some of the listeners that have had experiences of their own. So if they hear us say something, it's kind of like, hey, that's happened. Or I've always known that, but I didn't want to tell anybody because, get those looks. You know, with the way things are now in this day and age concerning the paranormal, it's not taboo like it used to be. It's more out in the open. It's more it's more there as a dinner topic that you can sit at home at night and talk about.
It's funny how it works. And I tell everybody, you get people that say, boo hoo, whatever. I said, listen, if you can't tell me you were sitting on the couch and you seen something out the corner of your eye, you just had a paranormal experience. That's exactly what you just had. Because nobody's in the house. Your dog's sleeping in front of you, and something just ran by you on the left. You caught out the corner of your eye. The problem with this is, and my belief is, everybody's had a paranormal experience one way or another. It could be while you're sleeping, because adults are more open-minded when they're sleeping, not like children. Children are open-minded because of the innocence. So when you're sleeping as an adult, and you know, I had this discussion actually on road dog trucking, man. Believe it or not, they were talking about dreams and having these realistic type dreams about walking on the beach with their father or somebody that passed away. And so I called in because it kind of, now we're talking something I'm interested in. And I had told the host, I said, you know, let me just throw this out here for you in a simple way that don't sound like we belong in a straitjacket when I'm talking to you. And I explained it. As a kid, you're open minded, and as you get older, your mind, that part of your mind shuts down. The innocence goes away, and so whatever you experience, say you were the kid with the imaginary friend, but in reality, it wasn't an imaginary friend. It was you were actually talking to somebody. But as an adult, you look at your kid and they're doing that. You're like, it's an imaginary friend. They're just playing. So when you get older, your mind is closed down. And I said, let me throw this out. When you sleep, your mind is more perceptive to the other side, the dimension, the open mindedness, the paranormal, whatever you want to call it. So that dream that you had walking across the ocean or walking across the beach on the ocean and stuff felt so real because you might have been there, or that loved one might have painted that picture in your mind so it's more relaxing for them to communicate with you. Because if you study what was going on, it might be a message there. And it's there's just so much, dude. Like I said, it's peeling back an onion every time you turn around. It's like one layer, another layer. But yeah, it's this is what we're gonna do. This right here is put my opinion, your opinion, and our expression into it, like I just did right there. That's exactly theory paranormal. That's why we did this, and we're doing this. I just want to tell everybody listening that this is a test run on some new equipment. We're doing a free for all kind of thing here, and just enjoy it. I hope everybody enjoys what we do. No matter how we do it, or if you're always gonna get somebody that's not gonna like it, but I just hope everybody enjoys exactly what we're gonna do here.
Oh yeah, and eh, I guess I'll throw this nugget out just just to let everybody become aware. With Theory Paranormal, it's we're going to be doing a lot more than just a podcast. There is going to be other interactive elements to it that you may have seen here or there, but ultimately, it's going to be a very involved environment for you, the listeners. And once we get everything up and going full steam, we really hope that you're going to be a part of it, that you're going to interact with us. And
I don't think it's just going to be listening though. They're going to be able to watch.
yeah,
They're going to be able to watch, not just us sitting behind a desk talking on a
no,
microphone.
no,
We got some things coming where we're going to put you in the investigation with us.
yep, yep. We're going to have live investigations that you can stream and watch with us. And in the future, when it comes to it, when everything's in its place, no matter where you are in the country. There will be a raffle per se, and some lucky individuals will be able to come with us and do an investigation and be able to be taught everything. They don't already have their own gear or have never been part of it before over a weekend, and to do it and learn it exactly like individuals do that live and eat and breathe the paranormal world.
I would just say, like, I'm just going to add to that because we're not going to make you robots.
No.
We're going to show you what we do, and then you can take that as a footprint. And then, if you're already an investigator, if you're an investigator, you come out and investigate with us. We're going to set a footprint, and if you've been doing it for a while, I would like to learn from you. You know, as an investigator, I like to see what you do, and maybe something that can help me do something because I don't know it all. You know, but if you're new people and you never investigated before, um, and you're trying to get into it or you're trying to do whatever, then just consider what we do as a footprint and not a like a go to thing that it's necessary that you have to do what we do. Just take it as a basic training, basically.
Yep. Yep. And we'll also be having a lot of podcasts on different subjects about equipment, about theories of things of the paranormal. We will have some guest speakers, and you will be able to call in and ask questions live.
And that's something new for us.
Yep, yep. So, um, but that is all the time that we have today. And so I'd like to thank you for listening. Once again, my name is Pax. And
Dalton.
got Dalton, my compadre, sitting over there. And we hope you enjoy this podcast, and we look forward to you listening to our next podcast.
Also, just real quick, we got some websites coming out. We're going to be putting out. So we will be doing comments as well. You'll be able to type in comments, and we'll be answering questions. Something we've done before, but just a little bit newer platform this time. So be on the look for that too as well.
Yep. So until next time, don't be afraid to ask questions.